which follows, we will show you the complete procedure for testing demulsifiers in the laboratory. A service engineer returns from a visit to an oil field and brings with him emulsion samples for testing. The samples are unloaded and brought into the laboratory. Before beginning the tests, the samples are examined to see if free water is present, and if so, this is drawn off. The vessel is now shaken vigorously to completely homogenize the emulsion. A small sample is now taken to determine whether the emulsion is stable enough for test purposes. By centrifuging, the quality of the emulsion can be seen. Firstly, a centrifuge tube is partly filled with emulsion. Solvent is added, the tube is shaken and then placed in a water bath to be warmed up prior to centrifuging. The tube is removed from the water bath and again thoroughly shaken. The tube is placed in the centrifuge and rotated at about 2000 RPM for 10 minutes. Number 1 is a stable emulsion. Number 2 is partly destabilized. Number 3 is completely destabilized. And number 4 is dry oil. A completely or partly destabilized emulsion must first be completely stabilized before tests can begin. This can be done in a high-speed mixer. Here the emulsion is being fully stabilized in the mixer. Test bottles, capacity 200 milliliters and calibrated in 10 milliliter divisions to 100 milliliter, are filled with 100 milliliter of the emulsion. The test bottles are now placed in the water bath, where they are heated to the mixing temperature. From the range of demulsifier solutions, 30 are selected for the first screening test. These are all 5% solutions in a mixture of xylene, 75%, and isopropyl alcohol, 25%. The selected demulsifiers are noted on the test list. The bottle caps are numbered. After raising to the required temperature, the samples are dosed by means of a 0.2 milliliter micropipette. 0.2 milliliters of a 5% demulsifier solution is equivalent to a dosage of 100 parts per million. The test bottles are now capped . Placed in the shaking machine and shaken for 3 minutes at a rate of 150 shakes per minute. Alternatively, and in those cases where no machine is available, the bottles can be shaken by hand 200 times. After shaking, by whatever method, the bottles are again placed in the water bath. The exact time at which the bottles are replaced following mixing is carefully noted. The first reading of the separated water is taken after 15 minutes. And the quantity of water which has settled out is noted on the test list. Further further readings of the separated water are taken as necessary and are also noted. After the total settling time has been reached, the quantity of water which has separated out is noted for the last time. Only from those bottles containing most separated water is the rest water content of the oil determined. With the aid of a vacuum suction, the oil is sucked off to about 5 millimeters above the interface oil-water. Suction can also be effected by means of a pipette, care being taken not to insert too deeply. The oil is thoroughly shaken to ensure complete homogeneity. A centrifuge tube filled, solvent added, the tube and contents thoroughly shaken and placed in a water bath to be warmed to the required temperature. The tubes are now placed in the centrifuge and rotated at about 2000 RPM for a period of 10 minutes. After centrifuging, the results are carefully noted and entered on the test list. Taking the 4 best demulsifiers, the re-emulsification effect is now examined. After dosing and settling as before, the bottles are reshaken and, if satisfactory, the water should separate spontaneously and completely. Failure means disqualification of that demulsifier. The 2 best demulsifiers are now retested, but at different dosages. For example, 25, 50, 75 and 100 parts per million. The whole procedure is otherwise exactly similar to that adopted for the screening test, as to mixing and settling temperatures, shaking method, settling time, etc. If from the oil which was used for the dehydration tests, desaltation tests must also be carried out, then the 2 best demulsifiers from the dehydration tests are used in simultaneous quadruplicate tests at exactly the same dosage, the whole method being exactly as already described for dehydration. The oil which was sucked or pipetted off from the 4 similar bottles is collected in one large bottle. After thoroughly homogenizing the contents, further bottles are filled with 100 milliliters of this oil. The test bottles are placed in the water bath. From the remainder of the sucked off oil, the rest water and rest salt contents of the oil are determined. To the contents of the test bottles is now added a further dosage of demulsifier, plus from 5 to 10% fresh water. The test bottles are taken out, shaken in the shaking machine as before, and replaced in the water bath. After settling, the oil is sucked out or pipetted off as before. From this oil, the rest water content is determined according to the Dean and Stark method. This method relies on the azeotropic distillation of water and toluene. 100 milliliters of the oil is washed with about 100 milliliters toluene in a 500 milliliter flask, and the flask and its contents assembled in the distillation apparatus. After about 45 minutes, all the water has been distilled over. Following which, the water content is noted and recorded on the test list. From the same oil from which the rest water content has just been determined, the rest salt content must also be ascertained. For this determination, 40 grams of oil are weighed and washed into the TEL apparatus with 70 milliliters benzene, 25 milliliters alcohol and 15 milliliters acetone. And thereafter this mixture is boiled for 2 minutes. Following the above 2-minute boiling, 125 milliliters of distilled water is added, and after again bringing to the boil, the whole mixture is boiled for a further 10 minutes. The salt which was present in the oil is leached out by the water and dissolved therein. After boiling, allow to cool for a period of 15 minutes, after which the water is drained off and filtered through a filter funnel and paper into a 300 milliliter Erlenmeyer flask. From this, 50 milliliters of the water is pipetted into a 150 milliliter beaker. The water in the beaker is now made up with glacial acetic acid to a total volume of about 100 milliliter. The beaker placed on the magnetic stirrer of the dosigraph and the electrodes inserted. The dosigraph is set and adjusted. A 0.005 normal silver nitrate solution in isopropyl alcohol is automatically titrated, and the amount titrated is continuously recorded on a roll of graph paper. From the curve so recorded, the salt content can be calculated by reference to the end point. The results can now be entered on the test list. From the results obtained, we can conclude which demulsifier is the best for the desaltation of this particular oil.